Welcome to the Man of Truth, aka the Villain of Truth, aka the Black Panther of Nigeria. Welcome. Hey, happy Sunday to everyone. Hope we are all doing great. Happy Sunday, everyone. I hope we are doing great. Yeah, hope we have a great Sunday. Who is joining me live? Uh, Today I got a little bit tired. I would have even made a decision not to. I could have said, "Oh, let me postpone whatever I had to talk about this morning," but I was like, I don't know. Once my mind is on something, I just have to do it, regardless of how I feel. But thank God today is Sunday, and it's opportunity for some of us to relax ourselves and to also rejoice and appreciate our life, regardless of the issues that have been going on. Who is here with me? I'm here to do two things at a time. Check on those on my audience, and then number two, to see exactly how we are feeling or how we are. We need to ask ourselves, how are we going on with life? How is life to everyone? What are our perceptions? There are a lot of time humans, we have a lot of reasons to complain. We have reasons to nag. We have reasons to, not to be happy. But then we need to find something inside of us that keeps us going. And so much for me, I have gotten so much used to certain ideas in life, and it doesn't mean I figured it out yet, but I've gotten so much used to few principles of life that when you understand the principle of life, you look like you are exempted from the problem of life, even though you are part of it, but it seems as if you're off. Thanks for joining, Mr. Rusty. Your email, bro. It's same as yesterday, so we'll be at doctor's tomorrow so they can take a needle sample. Okay. Okay, sorry about that. I was just trying to hear from you to know how you're feeling. Yeah. Like if it had happened, maybe if you had felt the experience maybe earlier in the week, you should have gone before weekend, which was Saturday. Sorry about that. All right, sir. All right, sir. So the question is that whatever we are going through, because I would say this for a fact, every single one of us, as much as we are humans, there are few things we are actually going through at the moment. There are few challenges in our life. I could remember there was a time um, about last month or a few months ago, things look a little bit very smooth. And then I identify something within myself like it seems I started thinking like I'm ungrateful because every time we focus on the worries of our life, we become so ungrateful. And rather than us to flourish or to be able to see the problem for what it is and recognize the fact that it is part of our existence that makes us experience things like this. Majority of time, we ignore the fact that it is a gift to even experience some of these pains. I know when I say these things, a lot of people would say, how would you be grateful even when you go through pain? Hmm. There are many reasons why you have to be grateful regardless of what you are going through. Regardless of what you're going through. And I've seen a lot of reasons where I can say, oh, this is a valid reason why I might decide not to be happy. But trust me, if you have a valid reason why you shouldn't be happy, you can also find a valid reasons why you should be happy, why you should rejoice, why you should be grateful. You know, when people talk about families and they talk about all these things, some of us think that, oh, people who have families, let's say someone who established a family, we kind of think that, oh, it seems they are happy. They are more happier than those who don't have family. And then sometimes you look at it from a different angle and you ask yourself and you say, maybe these people are even more miserable than us. So let us take ourselves out of the picture. And so you hear some people tell you that, in fact, I've heard it countless of times. People will say that marriage is a scam. Setting up a family is a scam. And whenever people say it's a scam, I tell them they are right. I always tell them, absolutely, you're correct. Because when you are alive, you can either decide to make a decision and say, I choose to be happy, I choose to be grateful. In fact, there is a distinction between being happy and being grateful because happiness is an emotion, being grateful is an attitude, is a character. And sometimes it is always very important to ask yourself, what am I grateful for? There was a song they said, count your blessings, name them one by one. Sometimes a lot of people don't even know what to thank God for. You see, and I tell people that, yes, you can tell me that marriage is a scam. You can tell me that family is a scam. You can tell me that children are stressful. But in all this stress, in all these pains that we go through in life, when you make a decision to be grateful, what can you be grateful for? You wake up in the morning and you want to be grateful just for yourself. I'm grateful I'm strong. I'm grateful I'm happy. I'm grateful I can feed. I'm grateful I can run. I'm grateful I have a dog. I'm grateful I have a money in my bank account. For those of us who make these choices, we have a lot to be grateful for. Even though we are going through turmoil, even though we are going through pain, we are grateful for our children. We are grateful for our spouse. We are grateful for our extended family. We have too much to be grateful for, regardless of what we are going through. In fact, I say the man who has more problem in his life would see more reasons to be more grateful to God than that which does not have much problem in his life. When you don't have problem in your life, what you only gravitate towards is happiness. And in the ability for you to become happy, there's a junction that is very close to it, which is sadness also. Let us ask ourselves certain questions. Joel Kuba says, please. Creed says, Rusty, what happened? Keep you updated. Okay. I tell people this, that in our life, we all have reasons to complain about one thing or the other. Everyone has a reason to complain. And every single person have a reason to be grateful. It is not about the amount of burden you choose to carry. It is not the amount of burden you also choose not to carry. It is about the behavior or the attitude you build up in every situation you find yourself. There is no better character you can build than to be grateful for every step of the way or every experience you have in your life. Sometimes we ask ourselves, why should we be grateful? I think part of the reason why we should be grateful is basically because of what we call the perspective shift. Because gratitude allows us to focus on what we have rather than what we lack. Gratitude allows us to focus on what we have rather than what we lack. And it helps us realize that there are still good things in life despite the challenges. Because a lot of people, the only thing they have is themselves. I only have myself to be accountable for. And I always tell people sometimes, you are not enough sometimes. You are not enough sometimes. Sometimes the beauty about life is based of the experience you have, based of the load you decide to carry. And I see most times one of the things our intelligence kind of does to us, it's kind of want to prevent us from going through pains in life, going through turmoil in life. And if we are trying to run out of problem, we find ourselves that we are not fully experiencing life. One of the advantage of being grateful is basically because it builds resilience. It makes us resilient. Because I have seen, and I think based of few studies, they've seen that being grateful strengthens mental resilience. That means no matter what you go through, you find a reason to be happy because it allows the individual to cope better with adversities, and it helps people to acknowledge small victories and blessings in tough times. Being grateful makes us resilient. It strengthens our mental state, and it allows individual to cope better with adversities. It helps us acknowledge small victories and blessings in tough times. You ask yourself another question: why should I be grateful? There are a lot of things that when you decide to be grateful, it does more good for you than even that which you're thinking. Part of the research has also showed that gratitude improves mental health. And they say gratitude has been shown to reduce feelings of stress, anxiety, and depression. Because it helps us refocus our mind on only positivity, even during difficult periods. One of the things I've also realized about being grateful is that it deepens relationship. Expressing gratitude can improve personal relationship as it fosters appreciation for others, encouraging stronger emotional connection and support system. I think we had a discussion, maybe even during this week, we had too many discussions. And one of the things you can pick up when we talk about relationship is that these days, people do not feel like they are being appreciated, or rather, people are not grateful for who they have in their life. Rather, they find the imperfections in them. One of the things I've also studied is that when we decide to be grateful, it increases our awareness. Because hard times often bring awareness of things we take for granted. There are a lot of good things that happen in our life, and we don't notice them until when we go through hard times in life, we begin to pay attention to the things that we took for granted. Because gratitude helps us to recognize the importance of everyday blessings, just like our health, shelter, and most especially our loved ones. So I'm giving us few reasons to find for us to ask ourselves why we need to be grateful regardless of what we are going through. It is important for us to find a good reason why we should be grateful. Because I can tell you, as much as gratitude is good for that which you appreciate, it does more good for you than any other person. And let us put this in mind. There are many reasons why we need to be grateful. I can go on, because when we talk about our physical health benefit, I think they've shown that gratitude has been linked to better physical health. And when you are grateful, it puts you in a space to be able to relax or sleep. Gratitude has been shown to lower blood pressure. Every single time we decide to be grateful for what God has given to us, and when I say what God has given to us, it does not necessarily mean that you have to jump outside and start giving glory just to God. It is easy for us to go outside and shout, "Thank you, God." But how do you take care of what God has given to you? How grateful are you for the wife you have? How grateful are you for the children you have? How grateful for you for the place you stay? How grateful are you for the house you have? How grateful are you for every little things? You have to pay attention to every single thing around you that you never brought to life, but they are there due to the grace of God in your life. And when you appreciate these things, they are going to function for your own benefits as time goes on. With that being said, whatever we are going through in life, let us always find reason to be grateful to God. Today is Sunday. Understand that whatever stress you have been through during the week, you have to be grateful. You cannot enjoy your labor. You cannot celebrate yourself. You cannot enjoy the works of your hand when you are not grateful for being alive to experience every single thing. Gratitude is important. With that being said, is it's a future wipe a comment I made. Oh, okay. With that being said, let us pay attention and make sure that our heart is in a space. Let's look around ourselves, ask ourselves, how did our life, how was our life 5 years ago? Let's look for the little improvement we've made. Let us recognize our mistake, and let us recognize also what we have done to improve as people. Let us look at every single thing around us and find a reason to be grateful regardless of what we are going through. You would always see a reason to be grateful. With that being said, yeah, happy Sunday to everyone. So, what's going on, brothers and sisters? For people to be grateful when they're getting missiles dropped on them and soldiers all over their streets. Being grateful is hard in times of hardship. That's Rusty. You're right. You're absolutely right. I think one of the things that actually kept me going while I was in jail early this year was simply because of gratitude. So you ask yourself, can you be grateful? You can always find a reason to be grateful. So when we are talking about jail, I'm not talking about the jail of, see, jail. We are not talking about jail where you feel free and you want to sleep and you want to walk. We are talking about jail where you cannot move from year to year. In this size of my room, you might have over 70 people in this side of my room, and you are sweating like you are about to die. So gratitude is of different stuff. Well, if you remember when the Israelites were surrounding Babylon, they were not so sure that when this wall is down, we are not going to die. But what did they decide to do? They decide to be grateful and to shout hallelujah. Even on sick bed, it is important to learn to be grateful. It is important to find a reason to be grateful. Today was fine. And when it comes to the idea of being grateful, I always say this: most people do not understand what certain individuals have been through in their life. My house, my house was burnt twice. My house was burnt twice. My businesses have been destroyed that I was at zero level. Relatively normal. Absolutely. So I find a way to be grateful, because the alternative is when we are not grateful, the only thing we want is something more, something more, something more, and nothing would be enough. I built a space, and one day they burnt the whole house. I did it the second time, they burnt the whole house. That was 2015. I built a shop. Within the period of 2 months, the shop was destroyed. I have been through a lot. I don't even always think I have been through a lot in my life, but I think every experience has made me exactly who I am. And when I spoke about how being grateful make us resilient, that was the reason why I had two houses. They've been burnt down. I know what I've been through. So when people were threatening me with the idea of going to jail, it was like nothing. the says whoever got your house twice should give Russia some tips because they can't aim for shit. And no, I moved from a location. There was a place I was living. The house got burnt. Oh, why is this lady disturbing? No, she's the one calling me. Can you hear me? Okay, at least it's fine. So the first time I built the house in a location, and that location, I think the government already gave notification there that they are going to demolish. And when government give all these orders, you might not know, because the person, maybe the landlord of the property, would have removed those things. So I moved into the house, and after I moved into the house, it didn't take a long time. One night, they begin to burn the houses. They begin to destroy everything. So then I moved to a different place in Lekki around 2015. And then I had another house there. There was an issue that was going on between the Nigerians and Cotonou that were staying there. Something happened. People started having, just two individuals had an issue. And before you know, it became Nigeria versus Egun, fighting every single time. I had a way I use in going to work. I have to go through another route. And then the government sent law enforcement. There were too many police, law enforcement everywhere, stopping the two sides from fighting. I was not engaging. And then when the law enforcement realized that people kept fighting and killing each other, I went to my shop one day. Before I came back, the law enforcement began to burn people's property. You will be so shocked. I could not differentiate my house again. I don't even know which one is my property anymore. Everything was burnt down. Then I had a shop. The shop was exactly where I used to sleep. I built the shop. That was exactly where I sleep day in, day out, day in, day out. But it got to a point, I had they said there's a money I was supposed to pay. There's these people we call Omonile. That Creed is asking, he says, so are the governments even good? That was why when I wanted, because of those experiences, when I wanted to start getting bigger properties, I was very, very careful. I had to go study things about land acquisitions, this and this. I actually went into real estate property to know about all the laws and the rest of it, because the experience I had was so bad and it kept that fear inside of me. And so when I wanted to start buying property, I did not just go and buy land. If you tell me there's this property that is in government acquisition, no matter if it's going to take 20 years for the government to come there, I would never invest my money there. That is coming from my past experience. And I tell people, I have slept in, there's a place where you go heap dustbin. When I went to Lekki, I was staying with my mom at that particular time. That was around maybe 2013 or 2013. I was staying in the mainland, and there was a time my friend that I have been with for a very long time, he told me he's in the island. And sometimes when I see him occasionally, I kind of envy him. Promise. So during that time, I kept doing my things. But whenever I saw my friend come around, because we finished secondary school, we used to work together and the rest of it. Then when I saw my friend come around to his family, he buy them a lot of things. And I'm like, wow, my friend is doing fine. And then he told me that, okay, he would be inviting me, let me come to Lekki. And then one day I had to gather all my stuff and I decided to go to Lekki. From the mainland, I started moving to the island. I just realized that when I got to Ireland, I saw all kinds of beautiful places, I'm like, where is this car actually going to? I never knew there was a ghetto in the island. And then when I found myself in the ghetto of the island, it was just like this, my room divided by 4. And 6 people were living inside the room. My friend never told them I was coming. In fact, if he had told them I was coming, there was no space for me to even stay. And then when I got there, that was the night I realized there was no house for me. I had to go on, there's this place they always go to throw the dustbin, where people throw dustbin. All this trailer, they go and heap dustbin. That's where I went to sleep. I slept there for 2 months. And I tell people this story. Sometimes I don't just even like talking about them sometimes. It got to a point I did not take my bath for good 1 month. I did not pull off the shoe from my leg. Nothing went out of my body. I did not take my bath for a full 1 month. At Lekki, Itedo. You know where they call Itedo? At Ikate roundabout. Close to this present house. They call it the Dome Church. Near 10 Commandments. For good 1 month, I did not take my bath. I was putting on a shoe. I did not take off the shoe. The place where there's this Canadian embassy, close to where there's Canadian embassy, VFS, at Lekki, Ikate roundabout. The place I was staying, you can pass there to where we call Chisco. If you want to go towards Jakonde area. Every time I wake up, my temperature is on a different level. So I've been through those kind of hell that when I pull out my shoe, I could not recognize my leg, my own foot. You can be dead while being alive. The only reason why I could not go home was the shame that I left my mom going out. How can I go back? So I was willing. Yeah. There are few things in my experience when it comes to health challenges that I once had. to speak about those things are still difficult. I still find a way to process it in my head. I don't even like going towards those locations. So men have to find a reason to thank God. Men have to find reasons to thank God. When you've been through hell and you are back, yeah, I understand. I understand. So I've been through those hell. Maybe I ask myself sometimes this question. Maybe that's what makes me a family man. Maybe that's why I so much cherish my family. Because when you've been through hell, where you belong nowhere, for years after years, days after days. So sleeping and rats, big rats jumping around my head, and I have to kill rats and the rest of it. You know, when you live all those kind of life and you come to a place where you become, you've lost your house over and over again. Some people would have made decisions to take their own life. Yeah. During that time, I was completely hopeless. There's what we call you being completely hopeless. When they burnt my house the second time, the only money with me was 2,000 naira. For those people who does not know the meaning of 2,000 naira, that's $1 and maybe few cents. Yeah. So in a nutshell, let's find every good reasons to always be grateful. Regardless of what we are going through, it never occurred to me for once to take my own life. Maybe it does cross my mind, but I didn't really pay attention to it. But what I think was the key point that took me during those journey was basically because I was always grateful. I was always grateful. Whenever I see little things, I find a way to be, to rejoice and to be happy and to be grateful. You're saying something, but you should never. Yes, I know that. Yeah. It is your life. Yes. Yeah. The reason why I'm saying it is for people to understand that the only reason why a lot of people commit suicide, or let us even say anyone who commits suicide, is basically because the person is not grateful for their life. And they don't cherish its value. And I know that the problem of life can be so overwhelming sometimes. But gratitude stops you from making those kind of choice or having such kind of thoughts. With that being said, I'll be coming live maybe about 8 or 7 today. Today tends to be Sunday. I know a lot of people are going to be busy. Yes, I absolutely agree with you. You need to find a way. You need to find a way. Sometimes things look completely impossible. You need to find a way. But for you to be able to even see that way, you need to be grateful that you're still alive to experience all these things. The experience is the greater thing. And now it helps me to be able to appreciate things the more. When I think about those times, it helps me to be able to appreciate things the more. So let us always find a way to be grateful. Today is Sunday. I said, let me put that out to you guys. With that being said, for those who haven't subscribed, if you haven't subscribed, make sure you do subscribe to the channel. Like and share. Hope we have some discussions by 7:30 or 8 p.m. today, African time. With that being said, I'm grateful for every single one of us who has joined me today. Hope to see you by 7 p.m. or 8. Have a great day. Bye bye for now. Adios, amigos.